What's going on, everyone? Scott here. Welcome back to the channel. So, Michigan State basketball loses at home to their rival 71 to 83. And this was a game that went south really from the jump. The first half was absolutely atrocious. Michigan State goes into halftime down 16, able to make a remarkable comeback in the second half. Really held onto the ball. Turnovers plagued Michigan State, which you could say a lot of times during the year, but really plagued them in the first half. Able to clean it up a little bit in the second half, but when you go into halftime down 16, just a little too much fight to have to do, especially when in the second half the rotation had to get shrunk the way that it did. And we'll get more to that here in a couple minutes, but this is a tough one to digest as well. Especially when you see the career game from Jeremy Fears again. Feel like we're seeing that every game now at this point. And really kind of there was definitely some just to be frank about it and upfront about it, because I know Izzo was, and I haven't watched the post game press conference, but listening to him on the radio on the way home from the phone, or on the way home from the game, should I say, listening to him on the radio there. Yeah, I know he was fairly upfront, saying that the lineup will change, and there's no secret about it when you just look at the numbers, what's going to change. And I think in this one, obviously Jeremy Fears having the game that he did, and next is Jordan Scott, who we'll go down the list here in a second, but Jordan Scott, one of his best games as Spartan, coming off the bench. He, plays 26 minutes in this one, and, I thought Cohen Carr, numbers don't jump off the stat sheet, but I thought all the little things he was doing helped keep Michigan State in the game, but you didn't get enough from your senior-led front court and, the bench as a whole, and everyone else for Michigan State just essentially not able to do enough to get a win here at home. But we'll get into this game here, but first, if you could just hit that like and subscribe button down there. Have more Michigan State basketball content on the channel, so just make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a video. So start with the school down the road. First off, starting in the starting lineup, Maury Burnett, 13 minutes in this one, did not score, only got one shot up in this one. And going up, Adai it was kind of interesting with him because beginning of the game, they were going to him a lot. I mean, he finishes he finishes with 8 points, 4 for 12 from the field, second most shot attempts on the team. He got up, and obviously all of them were at the rim, but Michigan State early on was not doing a good job at all defending him, and then they kind of switched up some coverages, started digging down a little bit on him, made it a little more tough on him, but overall able to force a couple of turnovers, and then not even just the digging down and defensive scheme against that, they were able to just play better straight up defense. And I know Izzo kind of talked about it during the week leading up to this game. It's like when you got a guy that big, you kind of don't know until you get out there and kind of see and play against it a couple of possessions. So overall, I thought they did a solid job once they made those adjustments on Mara. But Merez Johnson, he had a solid game. 12 points, 4 rebounds, 2 blocks, but a lot of that came late. I thought for the most part, Michigan State kind of held both of their bigs, kind of in check. It was kind of it was really, in my opinion, the whole thing for really both of these teams. Like, it was a team effort, and they had 3 guys in or 4 guys in double digits. Michigan State has 4 guys in double digits as well. But really, kind of for both of these teams, I'm really going to be just talking about 3 players that I think made a difference in both of these for both of these teams. And for them, it obviously Yaxel, he got back on track after he had maybe not been shooting it well over the last couple games. He comes in 26 points, 6 for 13, 1 for 4 from 3, but 13 for 15 from the free throw line, 12 rebounds, didn't turn the ball over. I mean, he was, smooth with the basketball, knocking down shots, making plays, getting to the free throw line. I mean, 13 of his 26 points, half of his points come from the free throw line, but there's that. But then I thought Elliot Cadeau in 30 minutes, 17 points, 5 for 8, 3 for 5 from the free throw line, 3-point line, 4 for 5 from The free throw line, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, only 2 turnovers. I mean, he hit some big shots and some shots, some like nasty shots. Some his threes were like, they were big shots from three, but then some of kind of his mid range float game stuff that he was hitting was impressive. So get to give him credit there. But then off the bench, we'll finish the kind of three. But I thought the other guy for them was Trey McKinney. Obviously, a guy we talked about coming in. Former Michigan State recruit. An in-state guy in this one. I thought he came out. He got up a lot of shots. 4 for 10, 2 for 6 from three. But yeah, he 10 points overall in 23 minutes in your first game in this rivalry as a true freshman. I mean, that was solid, and his shots were like timely shots too. Like this wasn't garbage time, minutes. Like, and I'm not saying Merez's 12 points were, but a lot of those were, he made an impact defensively throughout the whole game. But I thought his points maybe came a little bit later on, where the game was maybe starting to flip the other way. Michigan State rallied back, and then kind of the ending right there. I could be off on that, but just kind of I don't feel like it was a loud Merez game. I guess it is a better way to put it. But Will Shetter 5 points, LJ Kaysen 3, Roddy Gale Jr. 2. But listen, overall, I mean, it was a solid offensive performance. I mean, we'll get to some general thoughts here in a minute, but they shot it well from three, shot it, decently well overall from the field. And they shot it, above their average from the free throw line, only missed 3 on the night. So you have to give them credit. They did turn it over about their average on the night, but they were able to force more turnovers than their average and more turnovers than them, and kind of capitalize on that on the night, and got out to the fast start, which helped them in the second half, even though things kind of flipped in that second half. But we'll run through Michigan State here. Off the bench, listen, as I kind of said after the game, Izzo said there'll be changes to the rotation. I think the change is obviously Jordan Scott will be starting. I don't think there's any way around that. He was fairly upfront about that without saying that word for word. Jordan Scott will be starting the next game and for the foreseeable future, probably for the rest of the year. But before we get to him, I mean, Trey Fort, 3 minutes in this one. Kurt Tang, 12 minutes, only was able to get 1 shot up, rebound, 2 assists. And Cam Ward, 8 minutes, 0 for 3 from the field. He was able to grab 6 rebounds. It was good there, but the 3 turnovers, also had a couple fouls. He had the hook and hold, and really, and I don't know. I haven't seen the video, back. It was kind of hard to, a lot going on. It was kind of hard to see it on the, Jumbotron in there, whatever. But, yeah, just, I know I heard Izzo's comments after the game, that he didn't see it either, but, with everything that was going on, and you're watching that, I mean, this is a Big Ten, big rivalry game, and, there's a lot of, there's a lot of stuff going on down there to make that call. Obviously, Michigan State got the flagrant later in the game. Kind of feel like that was a get back makeup call. I don't know whether one was it. I don't know. Whatever, you can make that decision for yourself. But Jesse McCullough, 8 minutes, 2 points. From the free throw line, 2 rebounds, but turnover. And at times it just their size really, proved to be a problem, which we'll get more into here in a second. But as I said, Jordan Scott, an incredible game off the bench, 26 minutes, 10 points, 3 for 7, 1 for 5 from 3. Would like to see a couple more of those go in, obviously. A couple more of those go in, I think that this vibe, kind of changes at certain times. I don't think they're able to make the run to get the score back to where it is and, whatnot. But 3 for 3 clutch from the free throw line, 4 rebounds, an assist, only 1 turnover, 2 steals, a block, just doing all the little things. And yeah, he'll be starting for the foreseeable future. Divine in the starting lineup, 12 minutes, 0 for 2, 0 for 1 from 3, 0 points, 2 assists. He didn't turn the ball over, but like I said, their defense kind of just caused some problems a lot in the first half and, some in the second half. And he only played in 12 minutes in this one. Carson Cooper just did not have it tonight. I feel like in 26 minutes, 6 points, 3 for 5 from the field, only had 2 rebounds, 1 assist. He turned it over 3 times as well. got in foul trouble, 2 in the first half, and yeah, was just kind of never able to recover from that. Jackson Kohler in 36 minutes. I mean, he had his 12 points, 4 for 13 from the field, second most shot attempts on the team, 2 for 7 from three, 2 for 2 from the free throw line. But again, only 5 rebounds. Your two leading rebounders overall only get 2 and 5 overall. He had 1 assist, a turnover, a block, but um, yeah, just they were doing a good job of contesting high on him, and he was, hesitating to shoot the ball when he did have 3 point looks. I know he still got up 7, but there was a lot of other instances that then caused, clunky end of shot clock Michigan State possessions. And I don't blame him for not taking the shot because they did block, 1 or 2 3 point attempts. And their length was causing problems on that, but that's just the fact of the matter there. Cohen Carr, 34 minutes, 10 points, 3 for 8, 0 for 3 from three, but 4 for 6 from the free throw line, 7 rebounds, only 1 turnover, a steal and a block as well. And like I said, the numbers don't jump off the stat sheet, but I think all the little things, and really, I really think Cohen is like Jeremy is Jeremy, but I think Cohen is kind of the glue of this team. He is constantly leading this team and encouraging them on. And, when it was not looking good, when Michigan State was down, whatever, 16-18 in the first half, he's still like, let's go, let's go. And then he was the one that had the dunk going into halftime that I think kind of helped spark them coming out of halftime. Um, so I think another solid enough game from Cohen. And then closing it out with Jeremy Fears, another career game, 35 minutes, career high, 31 points, 9 for 20 from the field, 1 for 5 from three, 12 for 14 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, two. Only had 2 turnovers, 4 steals. Overall, I mean, he was really, kind of doing it all. Was getting in a little bit of foul trouble, had 4, but he finished with 4. But yeah, I mean, just kind of doing everything. And again, kind of in the first half, just, similar to Rutgers on Tuesday, different reasons. Wasn't in foul trouble in the first half, but just kind of, laying a stinker in the first half, for lack of a better, word or analogy. But really just came out of halftime and was determined. And so I saw him in that huddle coming out of halftime, and you could tell like wasn't going to go down without swinging, without a fight. And he came out, was leading the charge. Got things rolling, was getting to the paint, and doing what he's done over the last couple weeks to create these big scoring output numbers. Wasn't able to get the 3 pointers to go down, but was able to get to the line, hit the free throws. And I know, hey, I'm like, I get it, the foul baiting stuff, whatever. But listen, I don't think I don't know. I don't even know the right words for it, but I understand the frustration if you're not a Michigan State fan, if you're not a Jeremy Fears fan, like some of the stuff, like the stopping your dribble and getting ran over, and that's a foul on the defense. Like, yeah, as an opposing fan, I would probably be frustrated too. But it's for my team and a player that I love and root for. So, I'm not going to complain about that. But I mean, like, there is something to be said about in those moments where it seemed like Michigan State, had this lead to climb, he was able to do that and kind of, just slowly chip away at this thing to help get the lead back. And it wasn't just that. I mean, was making other plays during that run, but it was a lot fueled by him. And this is why I was kind of saying that run to get back in the game in the second half was really fueled by Jeremy. It was fueled by Jordan Scott and Cohen Carr. I think, Jax had a big 3 in there and, some other stuff. Carson had like a couple lobs in there, but it felt like those 3 really facilitated everything, getting that thing going. So closing it out with Fears, another incredible game. And I mean, if he continues to play like this, I mean, you just can't shoot 17% from 3 overall, and you can't turn it over 14 times. I mean, listen, I hate doing this game and whatnot, but we did it for Nebraska just a couple weeks ago. Your only other Big Ten loss, and that one was 19 turnovers. You cut that 14 turnovers down to 8 to 12, like we usually like. I know 2 isn't like, but hey, let's say you split the difference. You cut that 14 down to 10. Say you score 2 points on each possession. That's 4 less turnovers. That's another 8 points. Hey, you're looking at a 2 possession game. You're looking at a 4 point game here. That's 17%. You're 4 for 23. Say you even make 2 more threes, you're ahead of this game. I know that's not how it works, but I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. Is it's the little things. Wasn't Michigan State isn't as bad as being down 16-18, whatever it was in the first half, or this 12 point loss at the end of the game. But it's the little things that make this up. One thing here, one thing there. So that's just how tight things are. And I know Izzo has talked about many times this year about not having a big margin for error, and you don't. So I mean, but I do want to give credit to Michigan State. I mean, coming out of half down 16, 42-26, and you fast forward a little less than 13 minutes later with 7:27 left in the second half, you take the lead 57-55. I mean, within the span of less than 13 minutes, you go on a 21-13 run, essentially to take the lead, and all the momentum was back on your side. I mean, shout out to the Brez, the Izzone, everything. I mean, was on it all night. I talked about earlier in the year, after that Duke game. I said that rivaled some like 2019 senior day against school down the road, like that. Was right up there with those environments, but obviously the loss tainted that. I would say this game, the pregame, everything. This was right up there with 2019. So obviously the loss, I can't put it right there, but I think this one even topped the Duke game from earlier this year. I mean, they were on it all night, so shout out to them. But yeah, we give a little bit of credit that you're able to fight back like that, but you can't shoot yourself in the foot. Give the other, a top 3 team in the country, 18, 16 point lead at half, and come back to win. But it's just unfortunate there. They shoot 44% from the field. Michigan State 37, 38-17 from the 3 point line, 88 to 85% for Michigan State from the free throw line. Even on the rebounds, 36 and 36, 11 compared to 15 offensive rebounds for Michigan State. 25 compared to 21 on the defensive side, 14 and 14 assists, 2 steals compared to 7 for Michigan State, 7 blocks to 5, 13 turnovers compared to 14 for Michigan State, with the points off turnovers, 10 for them, 19 for Michigan State. Fast break points, 15-18, pretty even, 26-32 points in the paint overall. Way too many fouls. There was a technical. Izzo got one late. There was 3 flagrant fouls, 1 by them, 2 by Michigan State. Like we said, they were up by 18 at one point, 16 at half. Michigan State had that 2 point lead, but just kind of closing it out with general thoughts. And I did think, I really do think that both ways. I think that the refs kind of lost the game in the first half. I mean, it was the hook and hold. It was the constant. It was the flagrant, whatever on Michigan State too. The other review, it was the constant reviews, and just I felt like the refs lost the game in the first half, and that kind of carried over into the second half for both sides. This isn't just a Michigan State thing, and felt like they lost the game there. But Izzo said it post game. It's the refs didn't cost us the game, not being able to rebound as well as you needed to, and not be able to defend that last stretch. Like we said, Michigan State took that lead with 7.5 to go essentially, but over the last couple minutes at that point, from 57 to 55, you close the game, and they go on a 28-14 run. So they essentially double you up the last 7.5 minutes. A lot of free throws in that time as well, a couple clutch threes. But overall, tough one to digest in this one. But now you got a couple days off before you head on the road to Minnesota. Still all your goals, still pretty much in front of you. Still 9 games left in this regular season race. You're only a game out of first place. You play them again on the last day of the season. You play Illinois, a big one coming up next Saturday as well. But got to just kind of bounce back. Like, we know the rotation's going to get switched up now, starting on Wednesday. At Minnesota, so gotta adjust to that. Get ready. Another top 10 matchup essentially in Illinois. Then you got kind of a week off from there, Saturday to Friday. You travel to Wisconsin. That'll be a tough one as well. And then you come home for UCLA and Ohio State before you head to Mackey and Bloomington before Senior Day against Rutgers, and then a rematch with these guys coming up in just about a month and a week or so. So definitely a tough one to digest overall. But we'll be back with the preview for Minnesota coming up next week on Wednesday. So that'll do it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.